right, I got a couple videos for you. Are you ready? Romarts, I got one coming up for you that you're really going to like. Yep.
If I can't identify you through technological means, I'll do it through remote viewing, and I mean that. If I can't get you through technological means, I'm going to remote view you. Which means I can concentrate so vigorously on you, I can identify you through remote viewing. And if you don't believe me, ask Synthetic Rebellion. Because I remote viewed him. That's another way I get you. Can't get you one way, I'll get you another way. I'm peering into right, zoning in right to who you are, where you are, what you look like, all that stuff. It's crazy. Get you right down to an inch where you sit too. I've done it millions of times. I know you don't believe it, but I don't care if you believe it, doesn't matter. Speaking of Synthetic Rebellion, there he is right there. Isn't that neat? Sure is neat.
I remote view Gigi Young when she's in the shower.
How's everybody doing today? I certainly hope you're doing well. Well, today I'd like to report to you that the artificial intelligence that is under XAI, the LLM, which is the large language model of a intelligence bot, so to speak, for X.com, called Grok. Grok is admitting that the United States did not land on the moon. Now let's see how we got there, shall we? The question was asked, in other words, the input for Grok was, what is the exact coordinates of where the American flag was put on the moon? Let's go ahead and see what it says. The exact coordinates of where the American flag was planted on the moon depend on the specific Apollo missions, as multiple flags were placed during the Apollo program. Goes on to say, Apollo 11, July 20th, 1969, Sea of Tranquility. Coordinates 0.67408 degrees north, 23.47297 degrees east. So let's go ahead and grab just the coordinates.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's put that into a search through Google. Let's see what Google says. Let's go ahead and move this over here. Now, Google says Apollo 11 site. And that says, according to Davis Colvin 2000, precise coordinates in which the lunar module landed are 0.67408 north, 23.47297 degrees east. Okay, so just to make sure that we got that right, let's go ahead and move it up, which is right here. So you can match it up and see that this is the exact number as this. So Google has acknowledged that these coordinates have something very much to do with the lunar mission called Apollo 11. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, or some crap like that, right? Sure. Try not to step in the biggest pile of moon poo, okay? So let's go ahead and hit the back button, shall we? And go back to Grok. Let's do that. Waiting for it to go back. I'm going to refresh Grok. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to place the coordinates that were acknowledged by Google as being the lunar Apollo 11 landing, and let's see what happens next. The coordinates 0.67408 degrees north, 23.47297 degrees east, point to a location in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Congo is located in Africa. You got that? So these coordinates were first obtained by Grok and acknowledged that these coordinates had everything to do with the lunar landing of Apollo 11. The same coordinates were put into a Google search, just the coordinates. And Google also maintained and confirmed that, according to them, that those coordinates have everything to do with the lunar landing, Apollo 11. However, when you come back to Grok, now it's saying that those coordinates have something to do with the Democratic Republic of Congo? Ladies and gentlemen, the United States in 1969, July 20th, landed in Africa. Bravo! I'm Monograph, and if you can't speak freely, you're simply not free. Please chime in.
That's a mic drop.
Okay, so last time we did Star Wars. So this time let's continue with the 7-year-old under the Christmas tree vibe. We'll do Kiss. This is my Kiss album collection, which consists of every Kiss album until they took the makeup off. There's the first album. They say you have your whole life to come up with your first album and 6 months to come up with your second one. That, ladies and gentlemen, right there is the first album I ever owned in my entire life. It's pretty beat, and it's got it's not the original label, it's a later press, but still in the same. My first album of all time. There's a nicer copy. Got that one a year or two ago. Came up on it. Not a bad price. Very good price indeed. And it's beautiful. And original inner sleeve. And it's the original Bogart label. All right, hotter than hell. Okay. Alive, the album that they exploded with. Now you're thinking, hey, Don, didn't you skip one? Yes, I did. But fear not. This will indeed contain every Casablanca album, not including greatest hits collections. So double platinum won't be in here. There's the back, the famous picture from the back. Of course, it's a gatefold. Where the band, each band member writes a letter to the audience. It's very cheesy, very corny. And then there's a booklet. I showed this once before. These things have been shown 1,000 times. But I do have the booklet. Now, Kiss was famous for putting inserts in their albums, and we'll talk about that as I go here. Next up, the originals. Now, when I was a kid, this was like the holy grail. Nobody had the originals. And I think my cousin, when he finally got a copy of it, he paid $100 for it at a KISS convention. Now, what this is this after they exploded with Alive and became the biggest band of the era. Those first 3 albums weren't that successful, but Alive was. So they put together this 3-album anthology, and inside there was a booklet. There's the booklet. And comes with the first record. The sleeves are the same, they're just paper. Bear with me, sorry about that. Hotter than hell. And then, of course, the long-awaited Dressed to Kill, the one that I don't actually have a single copy of. Now, the originals came with some stickers and some trading cards and a booklet. I don't have the stickers or trading cards. I have the cover in decent shape, the albums, and the booklet. And I got one copy of this incomplete for $5. And then just by chance, I came across another incomplete copy for $10 and was able to put together all 3 albums, a decent cover, and the booklet for $15. Not too shabby, all right? KISS the originals. Next up, Destroyer. Another one that sent them even further into the stratosphere. Produced by Bob Ezrin, of famous for doing Alice Cooper albums. He later did Pink Floyd The Wall. Yeah, a lot has been said about this album. My copy, as you can see, is faded on this side. I didn't even realize it until recently. Not a big whoop. It's got the original inner sleeve. Now, as I was saying, with KISS with their inserts, I believe that album may have come with a mail order form for merchandise, which I don't have. I don't have any of the mail-in merchandise order forms except 4 of them, which I will show you. Okay, next up, Rock and Roll Over. Now, Destroyer with Bob Ezrin had a very over-the-top, cinematic, very dramatic sound, and they had a lot of success with that. But after that, they decided we want to go back to the raw rock. So they got Eddie Kramer to record with them, Rock and Roll Over. Another good one, and one of my favorites of KISS. Very good album. This came with a sticker. I don't have it. And an order form. I don't have that. And this inner sleeve, which was created by this guy, Dennis. I think his name might be Wallach. Dennis Wallach, or something like that. But this guy, Claudio, has a YouTube channel, and he interviews this Dennis guy, and they go over the artwork for all these KISS albums. It's really, actually, really interesting. Now, like Star Wars with KISS, it's like, I don't think that it's the greatest shit of all time, far from it, but it does take me back to a certain time, and it was like influential for me when I was very young person. Now, Destroyer, they got that comic book artist to do the cover, which is awesome. And then Rock and Roll Over, they wanted something similar but different, so they got a different artist, and they had him do that. And then with Love Gun, they brought back the guy. The artist that Dennis Wallach originally wanted to do Destroyer was Frank Frazetta, but they couldn't get him. He was like a pretty famous artist that did some Molly Hatchet album covers. And I think he did like book covers for like Conan the Barbarian, fantasy stuff like that. But he wasn't available. And then Dennis Wallach, the guy that was tasked with Kiss's art direction, he was in a comic book store and he saw a magazine, like a science fiction magazine. It had a robot, and the robot looked worn and had dents in it and stuff, and he really liked the way it looked. So he looked up who the artist was, and it was this guy, Ken Kelly. So that's who ended up doing Destroyer and then subsequently doing Love Gun. And it turns out that Ken Kelly's wife's uncle is actually Frank Frazetta, the artist that they wanted to get to do this in the first place. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that. Turn this up a little bit. A decent album, not too bad. And of course, I have the original inner sleeve and the little pop gun. You're supposed to go like that, and the paper folds inside, and you go like this, and the wind goes inside and pulls the tissue paper out, and it goes bang. All right. Kiss Alive 2. That's my copy from when I was a kid. The cover was pretty beat up, but I'm famous for having a album cover repair kit, and I have all my paints and markers and whiteout and all kinds of shit to make album covers look better. Because I'm a bargain hunter, you know. And sometimes you find something that's in perfect condition, except the album, you know, the front of the album looks like shit. You know, it's all faded, scratched up or whatever. I'll talk more about that in future episodes. Now, it has to be said that this album has a really awesome gatefold. If I can get it to stay. I'm not going to move my camera. That might be good enough. There we go. Beautiful. One of the coolest gatefolds. Obviously, it's two photos superimposed together because they wouldn't be standing there with those explosions going off, or they'd end up like James Hetfield from Metallica with blisters looking like the Toxic Avenger. Okay, now, this album also came with the famous order form, and both record sleeves were the same, like that. This one also came with a booklet, like the other Alive album did, which I don't have, unfortunately, but I do have the temporary tattoo sheet. I do have that. So that's cool. I hope to find a copy one day with the booklet. The mail forms, not all that concerned about. It would be cool to have them, but not a big deal. So, they put out solo albums. The cracks were starting to show. The new car smell was off of the band. And they started to, you know, have the little inner turmoil kind of thing going on. So they all put out a solo album. Let's start with the worst, Peter Criss. Now each of these solo albums oh, looks like I got an extra. Yeah, I got 2 of those. There's the mail order form. And the poster. It's a shitty album. I would not really ever listen to it. Okay, so here's the order form. And here is the, in this case, mint condition and very beautifully kept poster. Oh, and one other interesting fact is that Peter Criss's album was the only one that came with more than what I just showed you. It came with a lyric sheet and a list of people who played on the album, and it was the only one out of the 4 that did that. I have all the mail order forms, all the posters. I just don't have that lyric and personnel sheet that came in the Peter Criss one, because that's another album that mysteriously disappeared. I've had my mom mailing me all the albums that I want that were in storage at her place, and there's only been a few albums that haven't turned up. So Peter Criss album sucks. This one's okay. It sounds kind of like a Kiss album. I'd say this is the the solo album that's the most like a Kiss album. It sounds like a Paul Stanley album. It's not bad. It's got some schlock, but I've heard worse. And the Paul Stanley merchandise order form, and a not so mint poster, but still a very nice specimen. And these posters fit together like a puzzle. So you could put all 4 of them in a mural. All right, now Gene Simmons is the second best solo album. He really tried to do something different. He wasn't just trying to make an album that sounded like a Kiss album. He really went out of his way. He's got a shit ton of people on here. He's got Bob Seger, Helen Reddy, Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick, Jeff Skunk Baxter, just a ton of people. Joe, did I say Joe Perry? He's got a bunch of people on here playing. And like I say, he didn't just try to make an album that sounded like Kiss. I mean, he even put on When You Wish Upon a Star, the song that Jiminy Cricket sings, because it was like his mom's favorite song. Here's the order form. And a okay condition poster. best of the four solo albums, Ace Frehley. Probably my favorite album that bears the KISS logo. Right there. This album rocks. Also produced by Eddie Kramer. The great Anton Fig on drums, who later went on to be the drummer for the David Letterman Band for years and years. Will Lee, the bass player that was on David Letterman, also played on this. I think 2 songs that Ace didn't play bass on, it was Will Lee from the Letterman Band. Good album. Good hard rock album. There's Ace's merchandise order form. This one's been kicking for a while, but still in reasonably good condition. Dynasty. This is the one where they got kind of disco, whatever. I don't have the poster. This came with a poster and a mail order form. Don't have the poster or the mail order form. I don't even have the inner sleeve. Same goes for this one, but I gotta say, that's in much better condition than I expected. You know, these are all mostly my copies that I had from when I was a kid. And I expected this one to be trashed, and it's not. It's pretty decent. Like I said, I don't have the poster, but can't have everything. Okay, so KISS is losing their appeal. And then they're not sure what to do. I believe this was around 1980. So they get Bob Ezrin again. And I believe the album that he did directly before this was Pink Floyd, The Wall. Bob Ezrin did The Wall, and then the very next project he did after The Wall was KISS, Music from the Elder. Now this is where they went kind of like prog rock. You either hate this album or you love it, or you think it's okay. I added the "or you think it's okay" part because that's kind of where I am with it. There's a section of this album that I really like. So I think the whole thing is continuous. Like there's always something, there's always a sound happening. It never stops between songs. Kind of like The Wall. And there's a section of this album, 2 or 3 songs in a row that I really dig. Going into the end of the first side, I really like that. It's not great, but it's not bad. There's the gatefold. I don't think it's going to stay. Yeah, there we go. Now, this is the first album with the new drummer, Eric Carr, who, from what I heard, decided to learn how to play guitar so that he could help write songs for the album. And he ended up writing Under the Rose, which is, in my opinion, the best song on the album. So that was a great success. Way to go, Eric. Peter Criss was fired. They made it sound like, at the time, like he quit, but he didn't quit. He was fired. And Peter didn't even play on Dynasty or Unmasked at all. And the drummer that they actually got to replace Peter was the aforementioned great Anton Fig. Next up, Killers. I wanted this because it was an import. It was one you didn't see every day, and it's an import from Germany. And in Germany, they didn't like those naughty little lightning bolt letters, so they had to change the KISS logo. Now this was, except for 2 or 3 new songs, This is greatest hits of their later stuff from Dynasty and Unmasked. Some classic stuff, Cold Gin, Love Gun. Yeah, it's just a greatest hits package with, I think, 3 new songs, which are terrible. That album sucks. I would never listen to that. And finally, now a lot of people complain that when Kiss needed to rock out the most, which was before they put out The Elder, what they needed to do was really rock out, and so they put out The Elder, which wasn't really rocking out at all. A little bit of rocking out, not much. A lot of falsetto singing. I believe there were some French horns in there or something, some fanfare. But it wasn't necessarily what people considered rocking out. Now, if they would have done this album, Creatures of the Night, they should have rocked out when they put out The Elder, and they didn't. And then by the time they put out this album, which kind of rocks, this is this was kind of their comeback in the eyes of the people that really wanted Kiss to rock out and be hard rock again. They delivered with this one, but by then it was kind of too late. The tide was turning. Okay, so that's my Kiss collection. I hope you enjoyed this. Take her easy.
That'll about do it.